The ZX Spectrum wasn't just my first computer, it shaped how I fell in love with games. From late night loading screens to pixel perfect frustration, these are my top 10 ZX Spectrum games of all time. Some are absolute classics, some are personal favourites, but every one of them has left a mark on me. No ranking based on hype, just pure nostalgia, brutal difficulty and unforgettable gameplay. So let's rewind that tape and dive in. Hypersports for the ZX Spectrum was released in 1985. It was a popular award-winning sequel to Track and Field by Imagine Software, challenging players with 6 athletic events like swimming, archery and weightlifting. It demanded frantic joystick waggling or button mashing and precise timing to qualify for increasingly difficult rounds, making it a beloved but challenging sports simulation known for its addictive gameplay and button masher style. Hypersports on the ZX Spectrum. I think everybody who had access, who owned or who played Hypersports, has quickly become a firm favourite. It was a very popular game in the arcades as well, and that's one of the memories that does kind of stick with me. At the time, there was a lot of game programs on terrestrial TV. That's right, channels 1 to 4, and on nearly all of those gaming programs, the challenges that they would have, Hypersports would often pop up. So it did used to draw a very big crowd in arcades. The first thing I'm noticing playing it again now on the ZX Spectrum is that it's not particularly aged very well, and a lot of these games probably won't age very well. If I'm being honest, it's all about unlocking memories. I'm doing the swimming, and as you can see, the sprites that you've got there to act as your swimmer, they're a little bit odd to say the least, but I've managed to gain first place. It's probably been 15 years since I've played this on the Spectrum, possibly even longer. Who remembers this one, the shooting? I don't expect to do very well on this particular go, but I used to be able to get perfect. It's always that one on the left, and oh dear, it's all got a bit wrong now, but wow, what a game this was. And I've got some memories of playing this with my family as well, and I used to play it with my friends as we used to try and get the high score and try and beat each other's scores as well. So I managed to get 2,500 on my first try on the skeet shooting. Let's go for the second and the third try. Let's just see how well we do. Those sounds as well. There's not too much audio. There's obviously not really music being played in these games on the ZX Spectrum. But that still played well, to be fair. I think the swimming aged badly. That wasn't too bad at all, but I just remember this was just so popular in the arcades and on those TV programs that I mentioned as well. I managed to get a slightly better score that time. It's that one there. It's that second one on the left. I think I'm on for my best score yet. Oh dear. Didn't have a very good aim, but I finished with 2,800 points. So Hypersports is coming in at number 10. Fantastic memories, but now let's see what's number 9.
9.
Dynamite Dan was released in 1985. It's a classic, notoriously difficult ZX Spectrum platformer where you play as Dan, an adventurer collecting 8 sticks of dynamite to blow open a safe in Dr. Blitzen's hideout, steal his secret plans and escape in your airship. Featuring wraparound screens, trampolines, teleports and quirky enemies like snails and fish, requiring precise platforming and exploration despite some incredibly frustrating collision detection. Okay, I'm going to say it. This is easily one of the most difficult games I've ever played, and it is by far the most frustrating game I've ever played. And for those reasons, you might be thinking to yourself, how on earth has this made it into my all-time top 10? And it's easy. This was one of the first games on the list. It's because I didn't used to play games with my dad an awful lot. He wasn't really into games. But this one, he just took a shine to this game. So I used to sit with my dad for hours trying, and I use the word trying, to play this game. My dad just loved it. I remember he used to laugh, he used to chuckle, he used used to curse. He just loved Dynamite Dan. So, you know, there's absolutely no question that this game is going to make it into my all-time top 10. I think anybody who's played this will definitely agree with me that this game wasn't really about the story that I talked about earlier, about collecting the sticks of dynamite and then escaping in your ship. This was just to see just how many game screens, as you can see there, how many game screens that you can visit before you lose all of your lives. We're going to go through once more. Let's try again. Let's just see if I can do any better this time. Forget the story on this one. The bragging rights was all about how many screens have you visited in Dynamite Dan. And as you can see, you just have to collect these things as you're going along. And I can remember just trying to get to this telescope was very difficult, and it's still proving to be very difficult indeed. And it's bringing back some wonderful memories, of course, because of the time I spent with my dad playing this. But it's also bringing back those frustrating memories as well. The game is just so incredibly hard. And you can see in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen there, that is your lives. And as soon as you touch any baddie, you just lose a life completely. It really is extremely difficult indeed. As you can see, I cannot get this telescope, so I'm not going to bother. The lives are depleting very quickly indeed. Let's just see if I can make it. Let's pick up that dessert there, which we've got. Got 5 lives left. I mean, I know that we're only 2 games into this countdown. We've got 8 more games to come, but I don't think any other game is going to put a smile on my face quite like Dynamite Dan. So we're just going to try. I've got 5 lives left now. 4 lives left. You only have to touch an enemy and that is the life gone. Games were, you know, they were known to be notoriously brutally difficult back in those days, and you could say that, you know, the difficulty in this is probably down to poor programming, but they just didn't care. They didn't hold your hand. You touched a baddie, it's game over. 5 screens visited. So that's the game that's coming in at 9th place. Wonderful memories. Let's see what's 8th.
8.
Renegade on the ZX Spectrum and its sequel Target Renegade was a groundbreaking gritty beat-em-up series from the late 1980s. It was famed for its challenging single-screen combat, fluid controls of punches, kicks and grabs, its distinctive music and the introduction of a 2-player co-op mode in the sequel, making it a classic for its intense action and addictive gameplay against waves of enemies and bosses like the infamous Mr. Big. Okay, I'm going to say it. This hasn't aged well at all. The very second I started playing this game, I thought, wow, this handles terribly. I'm playing on the keyboard on the ZX Spectrum. It was really the only way that I ever played Spectrum games. QA, OP&M was the only way to play games on the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. And the first thing like I said, I noticed it handles horribly. In order to punch, you've got to stop walking basically, so you can't walk and punch. You can do one or the other. It just doesn't control very well at all. And you know, as with all the games that's going to be in this list, it's very difficult indeed. I would honestly go as far as to say that if I was to redo this list, it probably wouldn't make it into the top 10 based on pure gameplay, but it's there based on pure memories. I used to play this game an awful lot, and the game was obviously a lot more acceptable then. Of course, it was all that I knew. You know, back in the day when I was playing this in the late 80s, this was top of the range, you know, so it was probably simply amazing during the time. I must admit as well, I've never ever played, believe it or not, I've never played the arcade version of Renegade, but just playing just a few minutes on the Spectrum version of Renegade. Yes, I've got memories of playing it, and that's why it's made it onto the list, but it really hasn't aged well at all. Controls are simply horrible, and it's ridiculously hard. So let's move on, and let's see what's coming in at number 7.
7.
The Way of the Exploding Fist on ZX Spectrum was released in 1985. It was groundbreaking one-on-one karate beat-em-up, known for its addictive gameplay, challenging AI, realistic movements, for the time anyway, innovative scoring system based on well-executed techniques, making it a classic despite its monochrome graphics compared to the Commodore 64 and Amstrad versions. Players use joysticks and keys to perform various kicks and punches, aiming to score points, half or full yin-yang to win bouts progressively through challenging backgrounds with skilled opponents. Unfortunately, on this one, I'm only able to show the demo footage purely because I just couldn't get the controls to work. No matter what I tried, I could only find about 3 keyboard controls and my joypad wouldn't work at all, unfortunately. So rather than remove it from my top 10 altogether because it deserves to be there, I just thought, luckily enough, the game had a decent kind of demo, which you guys are watching now. So that's what you are currently seeing on screen. I always remember with this release, it was a huge release. We call games now as a AAA title. This game, in its day, was one of those titles. It was huge. Everybody was playing it. It was groundbreaking and ahead of its time, and it was simply scintillating to play. It's aged all right as well, actually. Some of the fighting is still pretty decent, so I'm kind of gutted I couldn't get the controls to work. But Way of the Exploding Fist most definitely deserves to be there. I'm not going to show too much more because obviously it's not real gameplay as such. So let's see what's coming in at number 6.
6.
Bombjack on the ZX Spectrum, was published by Elite Systems in 1986, is a highly praised arcade conversion known for its addictive, simple gameplay, tight controls, and a successful adaptation of the original arcade game's iconic backgrounds like the pyramids and Acropolis. Players control the superhero Bombjack, collecting bombs while dodging enemies and using rapid-fire button presses to hover, aiming for high scores by collecting bombs in sequence for bonus points. Bombjack is another one of those awesome games that I think anybody who played or owned a ZX Spectrum had played Bombjack and probably loved the game as well. It was a fairly high profile release at the time, and if you've watched my top 10 arcade games of all time, Bombjack also featured in that, coming in at number 7. What a fantastic game and what a fantastic version that this is on the ZX Spectrum. I think one of the things that really stands out with this version is just how good it plays. It's very, very smooth and it's very playable today. I was pleasantly surprised when I booted this up for the first time in a very, very long time, just how well it played, and Bombjack is definitely a firm favourite. That's the game at number 6. Let's see what's at number 5.
5.
Automania, also known as Manic Mechanic for the ZX Spectrum, was released by Microgen in 1984. It's a challenging platformer where you play as Wally Weak, collecting car parts and assembling a car while avoiding deadly hazards, all against the ticking clock and a memorable soundtrack known for its addictive gameplay, detailed graphics for its time, and being the first game in the popular Wally Weak series. As I said in the intro just there, the thing that really strikes home about this game is the fantastic soundtrack, which you can hear. Absolutely delightful. This really is one of my earliest memories of Spectrum gaming, and what a game this was. And again, it's very, very difficult. Playing this game as well for the first time in a very, very long time, I don't remember if I ever completed a single car. You know, as I said earlier, the brutal difficulty of these games, you would quite happily just carry on trying and not ever really getting very far into the game or not. I don't remember ever completing one single car, but I'm going to say I did. But what a fantastic memory and what a fantastic game that Automania is right now. Let's see what's coming in at number 4.
4.
The Snowman for the ZX Spectrum 48K, released by Quicksilver in 1984. It's a charming, non-violent platform game based on Raymond Briggs' book, where players collect snow, clothes and decorations to build a snowman while avoiding melting flames and sleep monsters. Featuring gameplay similar to Burger Time with unique, challenging like hunger and special items, offering a festive challenge with simple but addictive mechanics. All I can say is booting this game up for the first time in a very long time has raised the biggest smile of this top 10 countdown to date. Have very, very fond memories. I used to play this with my uncle an awful lot. What a fantastic game this is, and as I said in the intro, it is just a very charming game. It's a very nice game. It's a very frustrating game because the controls wasn't always the best, and you can see you can see where I'm controlling the man there. It doesn't always sit on the bottom of the level properly, so you can't walk anywhere. So the controls wasn't the best, as they wasn't in a lot of Spectrum games back in the day, but that's kind of what gives these games the charm. So with this one, all I'm doing at the minute, as you can see, I'm just collecting the snow there. And once the snowman is built, you then have to go on. You have to collect his nose, his hat, his buttons, a scarf, his smile. It's just such fantastic memories have been unlocked here. I was playing this when I was 10, 11 years old. It's just awesome memories. Games of today will not put a smile on my face like games, such as this did. Such a long time ago since I last played this game. Really does just feel wonderful to play, and it really does take me straight back to my childhood. What a fantastic game that snowman is. Now, I'm just going to build the snowman just so I can just show you guys. But as you can see, when you pick up the snow, if you run through one of these flames, it of course melts the snow away, and then you have to go and find it and collect it again. So it's just such a simple game mechanic, but it's just implemented so well, and you can probably hear it in my voice. I've got a massive smile. Listen to that. That's when you knew you was doing well. I've just got an instant smile on my face. What a fantastic game the snowman is. Just going to kind of show you what you have to do now. As I said, once you built the snowman, you then go and collect his hat and so on like that, and you can see his green scarf on the right hand side of the screen there. I can't help it, I'm not in a rush to finish playing this one. Let's go and collect his scarf. Oh, time bonus, that was ridiculously quick, because somehow they wanted me to get from the other side of the screen all the way over to the snowman before that time went down to 0. And it's just absolutely fantastic, and these baddies you can't touch. As soon as you touch one of those baddies, it's game over and good night. And talking of game over, that's the end of the game in 4th place. Now it's time for the top 3.
3.
Jumping Jack for the ZX Spectrum 48K and 16K is a classic 1983 single-screen platformer by Imagine Software, where you guide Jack upwards through moving holes in 8 floors, avoiding enemies and falling through new holes that are created with each jump, with increasing difficulty and hazards like planes and farmers on later levels. It's simple yet addictive gameplay featuring wrapping screens, essential quick reflexes and charmingly basic graphics made it a beloved and challenging title. I think the intro sums up this game perfectly. It's by far the most basic game on this top 10 list, but it's also by far the most addictive. What a simple premise for a game, but it's just so incredibly addictive. You've just got to see just how many times you can get to the top and how many baddies you can get chasing you. As you can see here, Jack is running to the right. You have holes which appear, as I said, in every time you jump a new hole appears. When you get to the top, just like there, you get a little story. Jumping Jack is quick and bold. With skill, I think it is, his story will unfold. No way have I remembered that. I have indeed. Wow, his story will unfold, and then you get an obstacle. So not only have you got to jump through the holes, you've also got to avoid the obstacle as well. So obviously, if you fall all the way back down to the bottom, you will lose a life, so you don't want to be doing that. So what seriously, I played this game so much with my uncle again. We've done a lot of gaming together, and this brings back some fantastic memories of the time that I used to spend over at my nan's house with my uncle as well. We did used to sit on the floor and play this game for hours and hours. Very, very addictive indeed, and this has also produced a very big smile on my face. Jumping Jack, when I looked at my list, because I compiled this list a few weeks ago, when I looked at my list just to see what game was next, and I saw it was Jumping Jack, I did have a cheeky little smile. Awesome game. That's Jumping Jack at number 3 right now. What has got the runner-up in my all-time top 10.
2.
Match Day 2 for the ZX Spectrum was a 1987 release. It was a highly acclaimed football game by Ocean Software, praised for its addictive gameplay, deep tactics and significant improvements over its predecessor, featuring the innovative diamond deflection system for precise passing, had clear graphics, extensive options like League, Cup modes and with various difficulty settings. Created by John Rittman and Bernie Drummond, it offered challenging AI, allowing players to control ball direction and power, making it a definitive 8-bit football experience with great replay value. I deliberated for quite some time about what game was going to make it to my number 1 slot. This game was very, very close. Coming in at number 2 is Match Day 2. What an awesome, fantastic game this is, and by far I've played this game more than any other ZX Spectrum game. It was very extensive for its time. As I said in the intro, you could create leagues, you could create cups. It was fully customizable. You could change all of the team names. You could absolutely do anything you wanted, and there was nothing else quite like it on any home system at all. Fantastic game, and I did used to create many leagues and cups in this. Played this game ridiculous amount of time, and what a fantastic game this is. And the only reason why it hasn't made my number 1 slot is purely because of the nostalgic memories that the number 1 game does. But Match Day 2 is an absolute instant classic. I also remember that this game was the first game ever to implement the back heel into its gameplay. If you look at the power bar at the top of the screen, where the white bar is going from left to right, that is your power. If you selected the back heel option, you can see the -1 underneath it in white writing on the blue bar. Then if you kicked it when it was in the -1, it would do a back heel. So advanced for its time, and my word, what a game this was. You could have different pitch colours as well. So the pitch colour that's currently selected isn't always the best option. You can go with a white pitch and red and black players. It makes it easier to see. Match Day 2 then, very well deserved to be coming in as runner-up. But right now, it's time to find out what my favourite Spectrum game is of all time.
1.
Chucky Egg on the ZX Spectrum 48K is a classic, addictive, single-screen arcade platformer where you play as Henhouse Harry, collecting eggs while avoiding killer hens and collecting seeds, progressing through increasingly complex levels with ladders, moving lifts and a timer. It's known for its fast-paced, simple controls and addictive gameplay that made it a beloved home computer classic. It was released by A&F in 1983 and 1984. It was praised for its addictive nature, fun factor and impressive programming for the time, despite some ladder jump timing quirks. Chucky Egg on the ZX Spectrum isn't just my all-time Spectrum game, but it could also be right up there as one of my all-time favourite ever games. So many memories are locked in with this one. Playing this again after all those years has just been an absolute joy. Again, the memory that's unlocked with this, I used to play this with my uncle, and we used to literally sit on this game for hours. We used to try and beat each other's score, try and get see who could get to the highest level. And it's just such awesome memories that have been unlocked, and a fantastic game as well. If you've had a ZX Spectrum, if you've played on a ZX Spectrum, Chucky Egg surely must be up there for you. What a wonderful game this is, and that's why it's my all-time ZX Spectrum game. Okay, so just before I go, I have to talk about Kung Fu Master. Now, if you've watched my all-time top 10 arcade games, you will recall that my number 1 all-time arcade game is Kung Fu Master. As you can see on the screen now, this is the Kai-Not version, and it's by far the best version out there. The reason why I'm talking about this in this video is that I did mention in that video that I would mention the Spectrum version of Kung Fu Master. After that simply woeful introduction of Kung Fu Master on the ZX Spectrum, here it is, and this is getting the headlines for all of the wrong reasons. My all-time favourite arcade game was probably one of the worst games on the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. It has had a re-release since, which is a million times better than this, but this was the original Kung Fu Master release, and as you can see, it really is very, very poor indeed. In fact, it's damn right unplayable. It's so poor compared to the arcade original. I was very jealous of my Commodore 64 owning friends who had a much better Kynop conversion of Kung Fu Master. So that's it then, guys. That's my all-time top 10 ZX Spectrum games. Pure classics, brutal difficulty, and memories that simply never fade. Drop your favourites in the comments, hit like if you felt the nostalgia, and I'm going to see you all very soon in the next Retro Rewind.